blueprints, and we can remanufacture many of those original parts, and then sometimes we'll pull some stuff out of the boneyard out there at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, the airplane boneyard, but pretty cool to keep the airplane flying as we now make our way into the next part of our show with Bernie Vasquez and the Hawker Hurricane Mark 12. And this aircraft, the first monoplane originally developed by Hawker and made very famous during the Battle of Britain. The Hurricane excelled in the European theater and in Africa as well in the Far East. Originally designed by Hawker's Sidney Cam, the Hurricane first took to the skies in November of 1935. I present to you the Hawker Hurricane Mark 12. Played a substantial role as one of the primary aircraft. It was regarded as a maneuverable steed capable too of absorbing a great deal of battle damage. As Bernie Vasquez of Minot, North Dakota repositions off to the left, we enjoy the graceful lines of the Hurricane. At the time of the Hurricane's conception, Britain was reluctant to modernize its fleet, still relying heavily on that of the biplane. Aircraft designers were ready to kick off a new era, but monoplanes were considered at the time unorthodox and risky. Nonetheless, this revolutionary model was designed specifically to be Britain's first modern monoplane fighter. Powered by then the new and innovative Merlin V12 engine from Rolls-Royce had a potent 1,030 horsepower, giving it a top speed of 340 miles an hour. That 340 mile an hour number, 40 miles an hour faster than any other monoplane that came before it in RAF inventory. Originally outfitted with two 303 caliber Vickers V machine guns in the fuselage, and another set of 303 caliber Browning machine guns on the wings, Air Vice Marshal Hugh Downing, responsible for the RAF's technical oversight at the time, wondered if the firepower was enough. Thus, no less than 8 machine guns were implemented to bring down those heavy enemy bombers. A new modern fighter in 1940. It is considered that the Royal Air Force had not modernized its fleet to the Hurricane before the summer of that year. Britain would have certainly fallen into the hands of German rule. Design for the Hurricane was radical and unusual, especially for its time. These featured included a enclosed cockpit, retractable undercarriage, and not to mention inbound machine guns on the wings that later became a staple for design of nearly every other fighter that followed. Bernie Vasquez, again from Minot, North Dakota, the Dakota Air Territory Museum, displaying the beautiful Hawker Hurricane Mark 12. Of the Hurricane and that Rolls-Royce V12 Merlin engine. to our left, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Bernie Vasquez and today's performance in the Hawker Hurricane Mark 12. Bernie's going to give us a couple additional passes as part of his routine today. Not a problem with us. From the left, at over 280 miles an hour and about 50 feet above the ground. Daniela, a brilliant display, as the Brits would say, of course, as we segment into our British portion of today's show.
We might have to work on our accents for that.
I'll tell you more about that in just a moment as we continue to see the Hurricane and some classy 1940s music with a classy 1940s airplane. The Battle of Britain was a pivotal time in history. General Van Kreppa, who was one of the last chief of staffs for the Luftwaffe, quoted the decision to fight in the Battle of Britain to be marking that of a turning point. The Germans took heavy casualties. They suffered losses that could never again be made good during the course of the war. And it was Germany's first considerable loss, not only for the long-term effects to their military, but also the death and capture of some of their top pilots. Sir Winston Churchill addressed the Battle of Britain to the country and the world with these words.
If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be free, and the life of the world may move forward.
During the Battle of Britain, its official ending on October 31st, 1940. The success for Great Britain from German rule made possible. The Curtiss P-40 Warhawk was the mainstay of the U.S. Army Air Corps during... We continue to listen to the sounds of these engines as they propel these important pieces of history through the Michigan sky. Take it from me, ladies and gentlemen, it is very rare to see an airworthy flying Hurricane in flight, but even rarer so to see it paired together with other Commonwealth painted aircraft, the Royal New Zealand Air Force P-40 Tomahawk. Again today flown, Bernie Vasquez of the Hurricane and Ray Fowler in the P-40. Everybody, as they enjoy the show today, to use the hashtag #ThunderOverMichigan. You and I, we don't get many chances to take a lot of pictures and videos, so we kind of rely on everybody else for that. But of course, if it be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, be sure to use the hashtag #ThunderOverMichigan. We'd love to see your pictures.
Yeah, we will definitely be looking for your pictures, and I hope you got a ton of that performance, because you mentioned how rare it is to see those two aircraft in the sky together. How awesome was that? So yes, I don't always encourage phones out, but this time, take those phones out, grab a picture.
Indeed. They are going to sequence into land to our left. You can see the landing gear is down. We've got the Hurricane down on the ground out there on runway 5 as we recover both the Hawker Hurricane Mark 12 and the Curtiss P-40 Tomahawk. Michigan 2022 brought to you in part by our friends at DTE Energy, Leaf Home Water Solutions, U.S. Army Recruiting Battalion, ATP Flight School, as well as Firekeepers Casino. When you're not playing your favorite slots at Firekeepers, try out the Firekeepers Online Casino. This is home for your favorite slots and table games, including fan favorites, 88 Fortunes, Monopoly, Quick Hits, Blackjack, Let It Ride, and more. All available right from your computer or mobile device.
Mark 12. First monoplane developed by Hawking and made very famous during the Battle of Britain. Hurricane sold in European theater as well as in Africa and the Far East. Originally designed by Hawker's Sidney Camp, the Hurricane first took to the skies in November of 1935. Right, Ray Vasquez, Hawker Hurricane, Mark 12. The Hurricane was the Fighter Command's most important aircraft. During the battle, it was responsible for getting more airplanes combined. At the height of battle on August 8, 1940, the RAF consisted of no fewer than 32 Hurricane squadrons, and up through 1943, it remained a vital component for the Fighter Command in all theaters. Production ceased in 1944, more than 14,000 built by Hawker. Although the Hurricane may have lacked its straight-line speed, it's regarded as a maneuverable steed capable to absorbing a great deal of battle damage as Bernie Vasquez approaches high and to our left for this rolling maneuver. Had a potent 1,030 horsepower, giving it a top speed of 340 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour faster than any other airplane that came before it in monoplane fashion in RAF inventory. It was outfitted with two 303 caliber Vickers V machine guns in the fuselage, another set of 303 caliber Browning machine guns on the wings. Air Vice Marshal Hugh Downing, responsible for the RAF's taking oversight at the time, wondered if that was enough. Thus, no less than 8 machine guns were implemented to bring down the heavy. Mark 12. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Ray Vasquez and today's performance of the Hawker Hurricane. A brilliant display, as the Brits would say, as we now segue into our British Warbird review. An aircraft from the Tri-State Warbird Museum down in Cincinnati, Ohio. This being the Curtiss P-40 Tomahawk in the paint scheme of the Royal New Zealand Air Force. their time in history, and General Van Krefeld took very heavy casualties, not only with long-term effects, but the death and capture of some of their top pilots. More than 1,500 British passed during the Battle of Britain, its official ending on October 31st of 1940. To the sky, recoming their own simulation. They set up to land. I hope that you will join me in a very nice round of applause for both Bernie Vasquez and Ray Fowler and our British Warbird review here at Thunder over Michigan 2022. Fires and the Hurricanes and the various British aircraft such as the Mosquito also there on display, so always pretty cool. They're going to come in and land right now as we are just a couple of moments away now from turning things over to the United States Air Force and the F-16 Viper demonstration team. And as we set up for that, we do, of course, want to say a big thank you to many of the presenting sponsors who have helped make this morning's Thunder over Michigan Air Show possible. Our salute to DTE Energy, Leave Home Water Solutions, and our friends at the U.S. Army Recruiting Battalion. Thank you. Well, during World War II, it was often a tradition for many families, getting their information from the front lines to sit around, whether in the living room or the parlor, and listen to the news over the radio. And for those of you who are old enough to remember, those old transistor radios had tubes in them, and you had to let them warm up a little bit in order to get the best signal. But as soon as they would warm up and you tune in, this might have been a sound you would have heard.
You can have vegetables, lots of them, on your table next winter. You can have your own fresh vegetables on your table this summer if you have your own Victory Garden. Yes, there's no restriction on home canning and home processing of vegetables and garden fruits and berries.